My name's Corey David, and welcome to the Mile High Update. To keep fans entertained during quarantine, NASCAR has been offering iRacing. It's where real NASCAR drivers are competing in virtual races to replicate the feel of a real race day. The league is so realistic that driver Kyle Larson was recently suspended for using the N-word during a race. This league is a lot less iRacing and a lot more iRacist. Larson, because of it, lost a bunch of his sponsors, but luckily for him, was approached by a new sponsor, Campbell's Clan Chowder. Yum. Racing fans are excited though, because now they can just wear their Confederate flag capes and yell at their wives in the comfort of their own home. Because remember, it's not about slavery, it's heritage. In the end though, Larson got what he deserved. Because what goes around comes around. And around, and around, and around. Bernie Sanders dropped out of the presidential race, to which Joe Biden responded with, "What race? I forgot my tennis shoes." Some people say that Biden is out of touch, but I disagree. He's very in touch with the women that stand near him. Bleeding Heart Democrats say things like blue no matter who, which sounds like less of a political strategy and more of a sexual preference on Smurfs. Papa? Smurfette? Hefty? I don't care. Just put it in me. It's pretty clear that for the second time in a row, the DNC has screwed over Bernie Sanders, meaning that they aren't as progressive as they like to actually lead on. I think a better saying to let the Democratic Party know how you actually feel about them would be something to the effect of, "Hey DNC, go fuck yourself." It doesn't really rhyme, but neither does Pitbull, and he seems to be doing just fine. Everybody's really bummed out that you can't travel right now. Airlines are even canceling and restricting a lot of flights, but now might be the best possible time to try psychedelics as an alternative to regular travel. Psychedelics offer an amazing experience, and honestly, who needs Disney when you can explore the inner depths of your own being? Niagara Falls might seem really impressive, but it just can't beat the safety and pleasure of staring at the pattern in your window curtains for over 3 hours. Traveling on psychedelics is honestly very similar to traveling on an airplane. The use of cell phones is prohibited during takeoff because staring at your hands is weird. In the case of mounting social pressure, put a can of whipped cream to your mouth and do whippets until your heart rate returns to normal. Just keep in mind, do your own whippets before passing the can to others. In the case of a crash landing, use an inflatable device, like this flamingo, to take your mind off of your own mortality. This flight has 0 exit doors because remember, you took 2 hits of acid and this flight lasts for another 8 hours. Smoking weed on the flight is allowed because you're gonna have to go to sleep eventually. Airlines like Spirit are even offering discounts and reimbursements in the form of credits, vouchers, or straight DMT. Since the quarantine started, Denver residents have been coming together in solidarity by walking out onto their porches and howling at the moon every night at 8 p.m. Medical experts know so little about this disease that they have concluded that a potential symptom of COVID-19 is turning into a werewolf. When you think about it, this is actually the perfect time and way for an actual werewolf to normalize their behavior in society. It's like, hey guys, wouldn't it be cool if we all just went outside and howled at the moon every night? That'd be pretty awesome, huh? Maybe next week we can wake up naked in a field next to a bloody deer carcass, huh? Wouldn't that be great? No? Too soon? Maybe next week. I'd like to remind everybody that the only way to actually kill a werewolf is with a silver bullet, and much like kidney beans at the grocery store, they are in full supply at every gun shop in town, because similar to kidney beans, nobody wants a silver bullet until you actually need one. I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsor, the original silver bullet, Coors Light, with the refreshing taste of holy water and wolf's blood. There's actually an app on your phone that you can use to track the wolves in your neighborhood, similarly to the one that they have for pedophiles. It's called Where? Wolves? Christians are outraged right now because they can't go to church while liquor stores have been deemed essential, but the reality is they're just two very different things. If 100 people congregated in a liquor store every week and listened to one guy ramble on about how a snake talked a woman into eating an apple, they'd call the cops. Listen, I get it, but like most millennials, I'm one of them, and I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual. Because I go to SoulCycle. I can't go to church every Sunday. That's when my favorite spin instructor has class. While most businesses are struggling right now, Amazon is doing so well that they hired 75,000 new employees when Jeff Bezos realized he's going to need a lot more people to help build his Death Star. Amazon is still operating business even though employees at 10 of their locations around the country have tested positive for COVID-19, proving that Jeff Bezos treats his employees like the robots that he really wants them to be. Employees aren't even finding out that their coworkers have COVID-19 from internal sources. They're finding out from things like the local news and their own bodies when they get a 100-degree fever. The fact that Amazon is still operating business and shipping packages across the globe while some of their employees are testing positive for COVID is reckless and irresponsible. It's kind of like a situation that my friend ran into recently when they were just out for a jog, and there was a woman with a small child blowing bubbles off their front porch. Seems innocent enough, right? But let's hypothetically say that this woman, blowing bubbles, had COVID-19, and she was blowing bubbles so far that it was reaching the sidewalk and the park across the street, and even hit my friend, who is not me, in the mouth. This woman's unleashing a bioattack on the general public, unbeknownst to her. Now, would this be bad? Would there be COVID-19 in the bubble that hit my friend's mouth? Or is it so sanitary that it wouldn't matter? If we have medical experts that are actually watching this show, please comment with your medical advice. For my friend, who's not me, please, I don't want to die. Companies like Amazon will be the downfall of society. Sure, it's convenient to get the package that you ordered the next day without having to leave your house, but the long-term consequences can be severe. Small businesses are what make up the identity and culture of neighborhoods, towns, and cities, and without them, every place is just going to wind up looking exactly the same. Bezos might employ thousands of people, but the richest man in the world doesn't even pay taxes, and worker conditions are notoriously unsafe and often go unregulated. The second that anybody proposes any tax on Amazon, Bezos will just pick up his operations and go overseas. That's not being a savvy entrepreneur, that's a terrorist. The last time I checked, the government's stance on terrorism was, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Unless, of course, they offer enough jobs to boost the local economy, hypothetically, and improve the optics on the unemployment rate. I'm just waiting for a competitive service to arise that was founded by ISIS called iAssist. It's a home delivery service that only offers non-essential goods that are delivered door to door in cars that were supplied by the US government. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Mile High Update. My name's Corey David. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out our show every Sunday at 6 p.m. for all the latest news.